So I think one of the most beneficial things in my life has been going to conferences and reading lots of literature from lots of different fields, because there's so many bright people doing so many incredible things. And if you could just get on a plane and go to a conference for 2 or 3 days and listen to people talking about this opportunity, this field, it's impossible to not come away with some ideas about what you could do to accomplish their goals, or what they think is possible. So I feel like I have benefited so much from hundreds of conferences that I've attended over the years. And every time I'll go to a conference and I'll be like, there's one speaker who said one thing that made the entire trip worthwhile. Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of the future of creativity, we have AI that's now being developed to basically do almost everything that humans do. The first author who ever addressed the topic of robots and machines taking over all human jobs was Kurt Vonnegut in 1952, who he wrote a book called Play or Piano. And he imagined a world where the best machinist, the best lathe operator, the best electrician in the world, that a machine would observe every single thing they did and then be able to implement it perfectly or replace that person. And of course, in that dystopian novel, everybody lost their jobs. But I think actually in the last year, AI has started to generate not only text, but music and poetry and art. And I think we're on the cusp of AI being able to at least claim to be able to write books and write poems and write essays. There's an AI called GPT-3 that wrote an essay in The Guardian magazine called Why Humans Shouldn't Be Afraid of Robots. And it was all generated by this artificial intelligence system trained by, I think, 185 billion facets of language that it had been ingested. And so I think, and then in China, there's one that's 10 times bigger. So I think humans are on the verge of having computers with machine learning models and huge amounts of data to be able to create lots and lots and lots of things. Read x-rays, obviously all kinds of manual tasks, and do it with more accuracy than humans. But on the creative side, the question is, if you can ingest all of Beethoven, Bach, and Mozart into an AI, and it could write a symphony that was as enjoyable as what one of those masters created, how should we react to that? Is that beauty? Is that art? Is there meaning behind it? I actually really question the value of AI-generated creativity. I think it's missing an element of genesis of like, what's the point, why did the author create it, or why did the artist create it in the first place? There's always a story, there's always a reason that I think imbues the entire piece with meaning. And while anyone could look at a piece of art or read literature, whether created by a human or an AI, and say, well, I think the meaning is this, and it moved me in this way because of this, it's almost like a one-way conversation at that point. I don't think robots and AI are humans or human-like or ever will be sentient, conscious beings. They're missing a soul, and they'll never have a soul. And so while I think there will be a form of creativity, I think it will always miss out on the real power and meaning that the great masters and the great artists of all time have imbued their works with. And so I think humans will be better off if we spend most of our time consuming human-created creativity as opposed to AI-generated creativity.